know, running back Zac Stacy has been sentenced to 6 months in prison for beating his ex-girlfriend. And I mean, when I say beating her, I mean he really did his thing on her, like bad. His ex-girlfriend, Kristen Evans, has been pressing charges for a minute. I mean, she's been running to the internet, asking for help, pleading for help, and now she has finally received that help. Yet, she still does not believe the justice system has done her any justice, only because he's only sentenced to 6 months in prison, which was a slap on the wrist. According to Zac Stacy, he's being set up. And it's her fault that his reputation is pretty much being ruined. So back in 2021, there was a video footage that had leaked out of Stacy beating and throwing around his ex-girlfriend, who was also the mother of his child, okay? He threw her against the wall, which also made her hit the television, and she fell to the ground. He started to punch her in the face, etc., etc. So he's did a lot of damage to her over the years, and she's just now reporting this. Well, she's been reporting it, but of course, she thought no one really believed her, or the justice system just wasn't doing their job. According to the reports, he struck her on the right side of her head, picking her up and throwing her against the television, causing it to crack and fall over. He continues yelling at her and striking her while she got up off the floor, picking her up again and throwing her into the baby's bouncy chair. While she was still on the floor, pleading for him to stop, he picked her up, body slammed her on the baby's walker, causing the object to break. Stacy originally said that, she's bitter and this is just not real. But how many times is this not going to be real? How many times, Stacy, is this going to be staged? Unfortunately, because he had just got out of rehab for anxiety and depression about 8 months ago. He says he dropped everything just to come back to the mother of his child to help her with her last trimester and the baby. I let her know I wasn't trying to be with her, nothing like that. This is a case of bitterness. And this is why she does this. The whole assault thing is just staged. She set me up once again. According to Kristen, she says, I don't know how you can stage getting your ass beat multiple times. On different occasions, you just can't. But this is what abusers do. They make you seem like you're the crazy one and that you're not the victim, that they are the actual victim. It even makes me more upset that the cops were consoling him and telling him to calm down, breathe, everything's gonna be okay. I know this could be uncomfortable, but just calm down. They were more concerned about how he was feeling than how she was feeling at that moment. And that's why she feels like the justice system also did not protect her. But of course, as we all know, a lot of people will take up for celebrities because of their status and who they are and what they do. A lot of people have fans out here. It's like, it doesn't matter what that person does, they will always stick beside them. But Kristen, I wish that you would have got out when it first happened. When it first happened, I wish that you would have just got out. Okay? I wish you would have just reported it then and just left the situation alone. As being a victim of things like that, it can happen on and on and on. Once the person hits you one time, it's a guarantee that they might do it again. Especially if it was in front of your child. You can't keep giving an abuser chance after chance, because the next thing will be death. Once he's out of prison and he finally comes back to you, because you're going to have to communicate with him again, you don't know how this is going to really mess him up. Even though it's his fault, you have to watch who you have children with. You have to watch who you lay with, because people can really be abusers. No matter the person's status, no matter how much money they make, you still need to evaluate them from their past to their present, okay? From their childhood trauma to their adulthood trauma. You better evaluate people and stop being happy because they're famous and they're rich and they can take care of you, okay? Let's be wiser, people. Doodie was awarded $11 million, baby. $11 million for defamation of character by his ex-girlfriend, FTN Bay. They are both music artists. They are both famous. But one of them has mental issues, and that's FTN Bay. She has to pay him $11 million, which really he wanted $30 million out of her because of what she said about him online, what she put around the internet about him, some very, very disturbing details of what he did to her son. She alleged that he used screwdrivers, his hands, his fists, all type of stuff to touch this little boy. And Doodie Lo was really getting the backlash from the internet because of that. Okay, it went all around. He was being called Dookie Lo, Booty Lo. He was being called every name you can think of because of the allegations that FT and Bay had thrown out there. According to the article, Doodie's name was cleared in the Broward County, Florida court on Tuesday, which was February the 28th, after FT and Bay, which her name is Brittany, accused him of S.A., her 5-year-old son. Okay? This was the longest stressful milestone in my life throughout the trial. In the tribulations, I stood tall after all the lies and the backlash, he wrote on Instagram while celebrating his legal victory. He gave a shout out to his attorney for all the sleepless nights that his attorney had faced, helped him, and he just pretty much said that he loves his team for really pushing the issue through and for really sticking beside him and believing what he had to say. Doodie Lo also says, my ultimate goal is to spread awareness to those innocent of false allegations, especially innocent men who have been accused of SA, he said. The issue further highlights the dark side of Me Too, what happens when men are falsely accused. FT and Bay came forward with horrific allegations in October, claiming that Doodie Lo had sodomized her 5-year-old son with screwdrivers. FT and Bay had also shared a clip of her son crying, explaining all of this to social media, grooming him and coaching him to say certain things about Doodie Lo because she's just crazy. Doodie Lo also accused his ex-girlfriend of fabricating the allegations out of spite after they broke up and harassing him and his family for weeks after that. Okay, this happened in 2021, where he did file a lawsuit against FT and Bay for $5 million at that time of discrimination and emotional distress, and also messing up business opportunities for him to even work with other artists and other brand deals, messing up his bag. Okay, in June 2022, FT and Bay issued a public apology to Doodie Lo after he had taken a lie detector test and passed with flying colors. Okay, passed the lie detector test with flying colors. He did not take just one test. He did not just take two, but multiple tests in order to prove his innocence. She says, I was never trying to ruin his career or trying to get clout out of nothing. She explains in tears, I just believed my son. I really believed him. I was just doing whatever I could for my son. I was going to slide for my son. He dealt with it on his own, but finally we came to an understanding and agreement, and he decided to take that test. And he did it. It's done. It's over. And Doodie Lo passed. That's what she says. Days after she issued the apology, she claims that he manipulated her and he threatened her to make that stupid apology video. She says that he made her say that this never happened. The following month, she was arrested for stalking and harassing Doodie Lo, violating her restraining order that they had in place through the court. All this goes back to he didn't want to be with her anymore. They broke up. She cannot take it. She cannot handle the pressure. So she decides to have all of these sick, demonic thoughts in her head in order to get this man's reputation destroyed. Let's be careful who we talking to, because just because they're beautiful on the outside does not mean that their mental is beautiful as their outside, okay? Some women will set you up for the money, for the clout, for the paper, honey. Don't allow that to happen, and don't be like Doodie Lo, because he had went through some things for years. He lost a lot of money behind this, and now she's out of $11 million. You will forever be paying Doodie Lo that money back. Kodak Black faces an arrest warrant after he failed his drug test. On February the 3rd, Kodak Black tested positive for fentanyl. Okay, for that crazy drug that's going around killing people. He tested positive for fentanyl after allegedly failing to submit a random drug test and alcohol test on February the 3rd. Kodak Black, he failed it. He failed the drug test, honey. Black was charged with fentanyl and oxycodone, a controlled substance, in July of last year. When he was booked in Florida jail before being released on a bond of $75,000. For a traffic stop, Kodak Black was pulled over and the officer had smelled some marijuana. When the officer had conducted a search of the vehicle and they found nearly $75,000 and, hear me out, a small clear bag of 31 Oxycontin pills. Okay. Fast forward, Kodak Black eventually turns himself in, and the judge has offered him a drug test, but Kodak declined the drug test. They wanted a hair sample. And Kodak is like, why does everything have to be about jail and prison, jail and prison? He also made a statement that maybe they mixed up his drug test with another person's drug test is why it tested positive for fentanyl. And he refused another drug test after they requested that again. Other than Kodak Black facing any jail or prison time, he decided to take the 30 days of healing in rehab. He decided to go to rehab and to start over fresh, to get a new mindset, to try to do better with himself as he needs to before he's in the grave fucking with fentanyl. As we see, the judge is being fair. She's allowing him to go to rehab, to start over fresh, get a new mindset. They want Kodak Black to realize, sir, you're blessed. Don't mess your life up with fentanyl, okay? Keep it peachy, okay? Because you was looking peachy in court, so you need to keep your life peachy and clean, okay, Kodak? The people love your music. The people love you. They're supporting you, and they just want to see you doing better, okay? All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Undertake Media once again, and we will be back with another one.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that share button, and stay tuned for the next underground gossip here on Undertake Media.